Hello and welcome to our first episode of Talk-a-Latte featuring our very own principal, Miss Scott.
Good morning. This morning I'm drinking a skinny vanilla latte, 5 Splenda, and I have a little whip as well.
Little bit.
My name is Helena and I'm the opinions editor of The Wave, and the drink I have today is an iced brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso.
My name is Annabelle and I'm the features editor, and I also have the same thing as Helena.
I'm Grant Terrell. I'm the web layout editor for The Wave, and I have a small black coffee.
Which we're working on.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about some fun new things going on here at MIA, such as new classes, the spring musical, prom, and more.
So without further ado, let's talk a latte.
Can you provide a little background on what you got started here at MIA at the school?
Yeah, so I can't believe it, but coming up in August, it'll be my 10th year. And let's see, when I first got here, I came down because of my parents. So a lot of people know this, but maybe some of the younger kids don't. So I was in Northern Virginia, and I loved it there. I was working towards leadership and doing some things with activities, teaching English, which I just loved. And we found out my mom had a brain tumor. So she and my dad relocated here to kind of semi-retire and just to kind of give her a better quality of life. And I was the only daughter that wasn't married or in a steady relationship at that point. And one day I was there and I was like, what am I doing? I don't know. I just wanted to be closer to her. So I kind of quit everything that I knew and came down to the island. And then they said there was a high school on the island, and I drove around looking for it. And I saw some trailers and something called the Champagne Pavilion. And I said, well, some champagne doesn't hurt. So, and then when I interviewed, I don't know if it had to do with kids. And I started as a teacher, and I was going to work in part-time development. And then from there, it kind of just blossomed. I wanted to bring some of a traditional district and things at the school I thought maybe should have to grow with some choices you get to have as a charter school, some sparkle. And away we went. So that's how it all started. It feels like 100 years sometimes, but
Oh, I know.
All right, so that's us.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about the school. So next year, some new classes are coming to the class roster. That was a thing that people have been talking a lot about this year as we're going into time to pick classes and stuff like that. Anything to add on some of our new classes? We're looking at a law studies class, right?
Yeah, and we actually had that. So what I like about charter is there can be ebb and flow to the classes as well, and what kids are interested in, also when we have the staff as well. So law studies was popular when we had it, and then with some staffing, we are able to bring it back now. And so what I also love is brainstorming with the teachers that are open to that. So I think it's going to be really popular, and I think it can be kind of I don't mean a fun elective. All our classes are fun, including all those math classes. That's a shout out to Mrs. Koch. All right, that's a shout out. But I think what I like about the electives is you can do a lot of creative, like hands-on, engaging curriculum as well.
Absolutely.
So they're going to do some case studies and things like that. When I was talking to Mr. Ginther, I was like, you could almost modernize the game Clue and have that like a midterm or kind of an assessment, like recreate that game and modernize it. I mean, that was just an idea, but because although I love Pink and Sparkle, I'm into serial killers too.
Yeah.
And so, but to study the cases and who gets away with it and who doesn't. I mean, a lot of us have, not us, but a lot of us have tendencies, but why don't we act on those versus who like the people that do act on them. So I think it's really interesting to see how they're caught. And I took a legal law studies class when I was getting my master's, and I loved that too. So I just think it's going to be a really popular class. And then engineering and aerospace technology. So
yeah, right.
we had a retired pilot reach out, so we're actually partnering with a different way to teach flight. And you can kind of go, once you're in it, now 9th and 10th grade, it's the foundational aspects of it. But then you can kind of do, I want to fly drones? Do I want to fly planes? Do I want to fly commercial? And you can get your private pilot's license, but also your commercial. And he was a commercial pilot. And he's coming in because there's so many jobs available in that industry now because they make you retire at a certain age. So he he aged out. He didn't want to stop flying, but he was forced to.
Mm-hmm.
So he cannot wait. He's so excited to teach the class, and he lives in our community as well. So he's
that's
really,
perfect.
yeah. So he's really excited about that. So it makes me even think like, what if I followed a different career path? There's so many what ifs when as you grow. I look at all of you, and I don't know. I'm just so filled with just like happiness and hope for all of you. And I was just thinking the other day, like, what if I had made a different decision personally? Would that have affected my professional decision? And I do think that we make a lot of decisions, and I don't regret any of them because it got me here. But like, would I have done something different? I don't know. So if I had a class in that engineering, it really is dependent on the teacher, what type of way we go. I'd like it to be an intro course, and this was inspired by someone that's at UF, one of our graduates, who took an intro course there. She was obsessed with biomedical engineering. She thought she was going to be making prosthetics. She went and fell in love with mechanical. I mean, sorry. I'm more humanities-based. So I'm like, oh, make the prosthetic for the baby. And so, but now she's flourishing. So it was from an intro to engineering course.
Yeah.
But if I get someone who's obsessed with robotics or coding or those types of things, I think people need to do their strengths. So, but I'm excited. It just depends when we get the person. I have someone I want, but I feel like Romeo looking for his Juliet in California. I'm trying to woo him from there. So that's, that's hard to get someone to relocate from California and with a housing market here. So, yeah.
I think that's one of the best parts about offering, more elective classes like that, like law studies. I'm taking law studies just because I think it's interesting, not because I'm looking at being a lawyer, but I think that for people, especially in like the high school age range, it helps you kind of figure out what you want to do. Because...
And it's just good knowledge to have overall because, like, everyone needs to know about that stuff.
A little bit of law. It's good to know.
Yeah, good to know.
I wish more teenagers knew a little bit about consequences.
I just think it's good for kids to be able to explore their interests through a lot of, avenues. That way we know that when we get into our more professional lives, we know what kind of career path we're looking for and what it is that makes us happy.
Yeah.
Do you know if there would be like a debate class as well or like a debate aspect to it?
There might be. I think that's dependent on what the teacher wants to do.
Okay.
I want to bring back, do you remember when it wasn't necessarily like debate piece, but we had the ethics bowl?
Yeah.
I remember ethics bowl.
That was a big deal too.
Well, Big Mama wants to bring ethics bowl back next year.
I would love ethics
because
bowl, dude.
To me, we can all debate, and I think that happens in a lot of classes. But bringing like an ethical, especially now with so much going on in the country and the world, I want people to be able to sit down and say, look, here's an ethical situation. We need to come to a resolution together, and we're not going to agree. But I think we need to talk about why we don't agree, and we don't need to dislike each other about it. But there's two sides, and even if we're opposite, let's come to a resolution where we can understand each other. I find that teenagers are able to do that more than adults in today's society. And that's why when people are like, you work in high school, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm blessed that I don't work with you. So, you know what I mean? So I'd like to bring the ethics bowl back next year. Yeah. And I actually found someone to help support that on the outside in terms of financially. So I'm looking to really to help that. So.
And that coincides with some of our other interest-based clubs that have kind of started to come back this year, right? Pickleball club being a new thing. Fishing club, GLI is new, just started last week. Yeah. So ethics bowl definitely should be something that we bring back.
And I love the environment that you built here where people are like supported enough, I guess, to restart clubs. Like with me and GLI, like, I know a lot of people who would have never wanted to like support that or, help build it up. And I love that I was just able to freely be like, hey, I want to start this back up. And everyone was immediately just like, yeah, sure.
I was sad it not ended, but kind of came to a conclusion. So I was like, well, it should have just stayed.
I know.
So I was like, let's get it going.
Yeah, it's amazing that people are able to just like, if they have an interest, they're able to express it and create a community with it. And that's really special to have in high school. So. I love that.
I feel if I want to be myself, I was always looking for that place even as an adult, because I don't think every adult gets that chance either. Then I better be the type of leader that allows every human in my school to be him or herself. And I don't know if any other high school I would be allowed to express that. So that's what I try to do every day. You know, yeah, people might get annoyed because I love pink but it's just, I don't really, and I don't mean I don't care, like I care about every person, but if I can show that I'm okay with who I am, that's what I want for every student here. So you want that club? You have my support. Pickleball, I'm not going to exercise, but I'll go and support it. So I just want everyone to be really comfortable.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a big creativity is such a huge thing at this school. So to have an opportunity for it to flourish is amazing.
I think I'm envious of the creative people.
I know.
So.
But on the subject of creativity, we have our spring musical superhero coming up.
Oh, right.
Very exciting stuff. So on the subject of performing arts, bringing people together, how have you seen like creativity scene in the arts and theater and everything here grow at MAA over the few years?
I don't know if you know this, but I was in theater when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah. See? And show choir, that's right. I was in Glee Club. So
I would have never known.
I hide my talents.
I know.
It was weird. When I first, there was only 68 students in the entire school when I first came to the island.
Wow.
So I wanted that. I think if you like something, you have to be able to do it. So we had the fine arts piece, but that's why we added a second teacher too, because I think that's where a lot of kids either find their peace or that's where they kind of like are able to breathe. And then people are like, well, we want a performing arts piece too. And I think I was like, let's do that as well. I just want kids to be able to express themselves in any way that they can. I'm going to say I think it's as important as athletics, because I do. As an English teacher, I have always incorporated arts into my classroom too. So I want there to be something, a niche for every single student here. And I want them to be able to find it. That's why, like, restarting GLI, if that's someone's niche and that's where they can find their voice or their safe place, we need that. Same with the arts. I want everyone to say, this is my spot, this is my place. Be it in that corner chair, be it in an office downstairs or a classroom. So to me, that's what the arts provides as well.
Yeah.
And an opportunity to shine. You're going to hear the word again, but everyone is a star. Everyone needs a little sparkle. And I want everyone to have a place to do that here.
Yeah.
On that same note of fun activities coming up, we also have our prom May 13th with the theme Masquerade Ball. What kind of outfits are you hoping to see on the runway this year?
What? I don't like cold fashion. Again, self-expression. And I hope people wear masks. I already have mine. I think we know what color it is. I feel like if there's a theme, you have to do the theme, people.
I know.
Sparkle, glam. I don't know. Like, I hope they do. That's what I'm hoping. I hope people do the mask, even if it's the one you hold. I mean, I'm tying mine on because that means less makeup and like less stuff to worry about.
I know. I love it when people stick to the theme for prom and homecoming.
Yes.
Definitely.
Like, it's...
I mean, do you have your dresses? Are we going, right?
I ordered one yesterday, actually, and I'm super excited. I gotta get a matching mask, though.
I know. It's so scary, because I ordered mine, like, months ago, and then I see it trending on, like, and I'm like, oh. I'm like, oh. But, I love it. Yeah.
I ordered one once. You know when you order it, it's like, you're so pretty, and then it comes, and you're like, it doesn't look like...
That actually happened to me. I did order one and I ended up like hating it, so I had to return it, and it was very expensive too.
It was so funny though, because I was like, months ago before prom was like, even before homecoming, I was like, oh, we should do masquerade. That would be such a cool prom thing. I didn't say anything to anyone, and then it ended up being the prom theme.
See,
I was like,
you thought it into
I did. I manifested that.
I
literally did.
I believe in manifestation.
I know.
You can. Positive.
Credit me. I did that.
Done.
Thank you.
Talk-a-Latte. Done. I'm so sorry, Grant. Fashion prom?
Nothing to say. I'm not going to prom actually.
What?
Why?
Never been to one. Not
Okay,
gonna
that
start
can
now.
change.
It
Yeah,
can
It
change.
could change.
But
Masquerade might be the perfect time. No one will know you're there.
it's a good point. I have nothing against prom. I think it's fun for a lot of people. It's just, I don't know, never had the interest. But
Well, how will you know if you never try?
I know.
Come on.
it's a good point.
And you could go incognito this year. See?
With a mask, yeah, full,
Keep
like,
up your reputation.
Right?
You're not going.
like a full face covering. No one will even know.
I know. But I don't know. I love you have such great fashion sense.
No, you.
So fine. But how have you seen? I want to talk about this. I don't know. How have you seen fashion trends? Like every decade has its own thing, you know, like 80s, 90s, blah blah blah. How have you seen trends from when you were in high school or like from when you were little? How do you see these flow into schools?
You know what I love about right now? It's such a mix of all the trends. That's what I like about right now. But if the low rise, the 2000s were like, "Wah." But I like now because there's like a little 80s coming back, like the flare is coming back. That's what I love. And I'm like, wait, that was me. But I didn't look as cute. So it's so fun to see things come back, like the big sweatshirts now. I'm like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can get used to this. The blazers, I'm like, stop this. Because again, did this. Yeah, you would have loved something. I thought I was like a fashion maven when I was younger. I'm like, Melissa, you're so. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade. I had like a jumpsuit. They called me Yellow Mellow. Okay, it was white with okay, with big yellow polka dots, and I did the high heels with it. Everybody else is like in jeans and jams, and I was like, no one's touching me. My hair was like in a perm, so. Now I would rock that, but then I was like, I guess I was ahead of the time.
I know.
So yeah, jumpsuits. I mean, all that stuff is now coming back because I just wore it a little without the confidence, I guess. I don't know.
You know,
Maybe we should talk about the school again.
yeah.
We were talking about fashion trends that are back in school.
Right?
It's a good point.
Related, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So what's next year look like at MIA though? That's something I'm sure that's on all the juniors' minds right now, especially. Aside from just picking our classes from next year, things will be different next year. We've had a lot more students every single year, new classes every single year. So what's in the near future for us?
I guess I'm gonna ask you the same, because every year I'm looking for the junior class. It was pretty lonely yesterday. You know, it's weird when the seniors aren't here. And I always look for this day that the junior class becomes seniors. And that doesn't happen. I don't mean like when the seniors graduate. There's always a day it clicks. And I'm always looking for that leadership and that connection. I feel like it's happening right now. I do. We're going to have more students. We're going to have probably up to maybe 330. And that puts a lot of pressure to keep the culture in those relationships. I always start to get very protective of my next senior class, just because it's they say junior year is really stressful, but I don't agree as much. Senior year is because a lot starts to change. Emotionally too, because you start to think about the next step. You start to look at yourself a little bit differently. For me, I'm looking to just really solidify like everyone's position here and make sure like with the staff, like, because I don't think people really understand like the most important things in my life are my family and this school. So I want the younger kids coming in to remember how hard it was for us to get here and just how much they're loved, and I want them to appreciate that. So, but for my seniors, I want you are the top, and I mean that. You matter the most, and all the kids matter, but no, you're a special class because it's a special year, and I want you to feel that, but I also want you to step into that. So I'm going to ask the same. Like, what changes do you see in yourselves for next year?
Well, all three of us are going to be on the leadership board, I guess, for the wave. We're all stepping up.
Yeah, stepping into leadership positions definitely changes you a little bit because you have to adopt a bit more responsibility. And even though, every student at the school is responsible, for themselves, I feel like what's been interesting at the Wave, and this is my first year being on the staff team, working on the website, right? Is that I feel like it develops your personality a little bit when instead of just being responsible for your own grades, your own performance, you're also responsible for your product in a sense, right? Like we are all part of a team working to build a newspaper, and we all love the newspaper, right? Like we want to make it something that we're proud of presenting to other people. So I think it adds another level of, you know, personality to people when they're in that leadership position, because I think we have to work to manage the wave, and I think that develops us more as people, makes us into, you know, better adults, better people. So I think that that's a common trend among the senior class. You know, when you're when you're the role model, everyone's looking up to you. You have to kind of come into your own a little bit, into some sort of niche. You have to find your place, and I hope that all of us are doing that.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about yourself too, kind of being like, shout out to Sophia and Jorge and Hattie. Like, you don't realize how much work they do until you're kind of being brought up in that position.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about it, they're only going to be here for like another month, and then we have to.
And then it's our
then it's just
responsibility.
us.
It's a little scary.
And of course, we're going to have that support from, you know, Scalia and everyone else on the wave. But you do find yourself a little bit, you kind of, like, I've had moments where I'm like, I am not as good at leadership as I thought I was. Just because, like, you know, I'm scatterbrained and I, like, focus on 20 different things at once because that's just how my mind works. So I have to sit down and I'm like, oh, I cannot do 20 things at once. I have to focus on this and like prioritize this. So you do learn a lot about yourself. You kind of discover your strengths and your weaknesses, and luckily we all have a different kind of set, so we can all kind of work together.
Yeah.
But you definitely do realize yeah, I don't know, it's a nice experience. Like,
That's
you
what
learn a
makes
lot.
seniors the best.
Yeah.
You'll find that you can do 20 things at once. And I see it in you. It's just, it is, you're so right. It's like taking those 20, what are the top 5? You know, because I've seen growth in all of you this year. You know, so that's the hardest part, is like when you have 50 things to do, it's like, okay, top 5, next 5, next 5.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, the week's over. So you'll
Just make it till Friday.
every week. And you're like, oh, wait, there's something Saturday.
As far as MIA goes for next year, though, and not just ourselves, I think we've always been pretty good at preserving the culture here at MIA, like you were talking about. The school's obviously going to grow. You know, I remember it was our freshman year. We still had portables. We were the last year to remember the trailers. And I think all of us remember them at least fondly to some extent, because they were kind of fun.
It was a fun time.
There's definitely an atmosphere that came with those classrooms, but I think that even though the school has doubled, tripled in size since that year, I think still we've done a pretty good job of preserving the culture here in terms of student to teacher relationship, right? Isn't it such a special thing that we can be recording this podcast right now, the three of us, with our wonderful principal, Miss Scott. I think, you know, regardless of how big the school gets and who the senior class is, I think that we've always done a good job here at the school of, you know, creating great students and students that have great relationship with staff, and it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. Like, despite how big our school may be getting, we always have that tight-knit community that we've had since the school started. So it's really special.
And I love how you do the interviews too, like when you become freshmen or
I still remember mine.
I felt so nervous, and then it was
I know. I love it.
I always remember that. That's where I get, sorry, small dog on table. It always chokes me up as I'm going through the senior class. I'll just think about everyone when they came in. But I've already started those, so I have them today after school. So started those in late March. It's interesting, but good kids.
Yeah, is it like a tough decision, all of those freshman interviews? I feel like it, not necessarily a tough decision, but I feel like it must be tough trying to get to know each of the freshmen before, which is a really special thing that you do here at the school, in my opinion. When I was, you know, a freshman making decisions about high school, I thought it was a interesting and kind of cool thing that you did, interviewing all of the freshmen individually. So it must be tough trying to get a sense of, you know, how everyone is before they, because freshmen, you know, you're still developing as a person, right? I feel like, at least for the three of us, the people we were as freshmen are not the people we were now. And I'm sure that's everyone at the school.
Don't make me pull out Wanda, my freshman year, my picture, color Wanda.
Wanda.
it takes time, but I love it. And I realize how beneficial it is because you can see something, you know, you can tell, okay, like the ones that like might be like kind of like Billy, little menaces, but like with good hearts, you know, and they just need a chance in a different like environment. And you can see the Brodies kind of scared of everything. And they just need like some extra loving. And those, sometimes you just need to tell somebody you're proud of them. I met the cutest. They're just sweet and vulnerable, and they're just kids, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's my freshman year, and sometimes I'm like, I should have liked myself more, and I probably didn't, you know. So I just try to look at every kid through that lens. So.
Yeah. All right.
So how have you seen MIA grow over years here, and what do you see in its future?
From the day I drove up, I could say clearly we have a building, and there's no sarcasm in that. So many people I think didn't think we would get it. But to me, it's more of a home. You know, I've seen the kids grow, the community grow, compassion grow, kindness grow. It's the kids that make it, and that's why we have. I'm going to get choked up. That's why we have it. The donors have been amazing, but everybody gives for the kids. And when I met the first kids here, they thought I was going to leave. They were like, you're going to leave, right? I was like, well, no, like I'm going to stay, and I'm going to dig my heels in, and we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn. And, so I wish all of you saw yourselves from my vantage point, because you'd understand. So kid, you keep growing, you keep giving, you're blossoming. It's like a pink rose garden. So what do I hope? I hope this school continues to flourish like long after I'm gone. We were in a meeting and I realized one day, you know, MIA will be without me. And I hope some of my kids come back and take it over. And I don't mean like, you know, I hope, and I don't want that for everybody. Obviously I want people to leave and go like live their lives and do crazy, amazing things, but I would love to see it just flourish like forever and just continue. I don't know. To do amazing things with amazing kids, because that's what it should be. So. With lots of pink.
Oh, of course.
Very important.
The most important factor.
All right. We talked about some new classes coming into MIA. We talked about prom this year. What's happening next year? Everyone becoming seniors next year. We talked a latte.
We did talk a latte.
We did talk a latte.
Well, I enjoyed a latte. How was your black coffee?
It's fine, same as all the other ones.
What is he trying next time, everybody?
Ooh, okay.
Oh, I'm making a list. So today was black coffee.
I know you like tea, right?
I love tea.
Okay.
It's better than coffee, in my opinion.
Okay.
Why don't we get him a tea then?
Perfect. Number 2.
Chai latte?
Chai
Matcha
latte.
latte?
Ooh.
I love both of those.
Those
so.
are
Next time, chai latte.
chai latte.
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
Looks
Looks like we've spilled the beans. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.